Hi, thank you for listening to the Strings of Hate podcast. I'm Vincent.
And I'm Azzurum.
Now Azzurum, Lidara came to me the other day and she wanted to show me how she'd been practicing. She said that you gave her some tips on voice acting. What were you thinking?
I think she sounds great, honestly, never better. I really think that the tone, it really pulls the audience in. The rates, the reviews, they've gone crazy since then.
Right. Well, just leave the performance tips to me. Maybe next time I'll help her out,
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you should just go check and see what Renae's doing.
Oh my god. Anyway, everyone listening, I hope you have a great day and
enjoy the episode.
Okay, thank you for cutting me off.
The streets of Wheldon are as alive as ever. That excited buzz of day now turning into the drunken stupor of night. You can hear cackles ring out over the rooftops, leaving crowded bars and fest halls. But along with that, you also hear the shuffling footsteps and barked orders of the Wheldon Watch, making their way through the streets on an alert patrol. Currently, you're following the air genasi maid, Adelaide, to her home in the undercity. But the streets are laden with watch as it is still the same night of your daring escape from the Church of the Morning Lord. Is there anything special that you're doing in that occasion, trying to keep a low profile? Any abilities you want to use? Any disguises that you may have put on before leaving, etc.?
I probably would have disguised myself to look, probably like that one human that I disguised myself as before when I fought Vincent in the street.
Okay. It's like the blonde with like the Walsh merchandise on, that sort of thing.
I can cast Pass Without a Trace.
Pass Without a Trace?
Nice.
So that
we can pass
without a trace.
You can pass without
a trace, yeah.
A trace.
Any track, so.
Fantastic. That's a +10 on stealth to everybody.
I'm gonna disguise myself as just a human version of myself. Just no horns,
Quirky.
regular old ears.
Very, very nice. Okay,
Brown
pass without a
skin.
trace from Lidara. Disguise self from you. Disguise mask of many faces from Azzurum. Going forward, who else would you have wanted to accompany you with this? Renae, Bonnie, that sort of thing. Bonnie actually probably would say to come along because
Yeah.
I'd
No.
probably
I don't
ask
know if-
Bonnie.
I don't know if Archie should come. I feel like
Just leave him alone in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
or she just rest.
Yeah, we'll
I
just.
feel like he should.
We'd feel because he's not equipped for this.
He's pretty human.
And
Yeah.
he also was definitely picked up by them, so
Yeah.
they do know what he looks like. We already
Yeah.
have one
We'll just
fugitive with us.
keep him safe at home.
That's me, the fugitive.
I would have probably spent a little bit of time to try to disguise Renae a little bit with my disguise kit.
Sure, yeah. Go ahead and roll like a dexterity check with proficiency. Renae also, I will say, probably put on different clothes. So he's probably wearing some of clothes that were provided for him, just regular thorn. He probably looks like a thorn grunt, if that makes sense. Like just nothing special, like a emerald green vest, and not his regular adventurer's garb, just because he was wearing that when he escaped the church.
I got a 22.
Okay, what do you want him to look like?
I don't have any temporary dye, I don't think. So I don't want to dye his hair.
Oh my god, please
Oh
dye
my
his hair.
God.
It's a disguise kit. I mean, it's supposed to allow you to change any facet of somebody
Can you please make
to
Renae
an
the little
extent that isn't
goth?
magical.
Do I have a dye that washes out?
Yeah. Disguise kit is not gonna it'd be a pretty bad disguise if you do something illegal in it and then it stays in there, so you can't even change
Yeah.
back.
That'd be so sad.
Like maybe a hair chalk or something like that.
Yeah, just a brown, just a make
Black.
it a little darker so it's not quite as bright.
Sure, it's
Not
now
a
like
black.
a darker.
Black won't come out.
It's temporary.
It'll stain. I don't know.
This is the conversation they're having.
fantasy.
Yeah. Vincent's like, I'm afraid it'll stain.
Roll for stain. Renair is, you take some time before you leave. Adelaide kind of nervously sort of bouncing her leg as she sat there, not making any attempts to escape or jump away as you take the time to disguise Renair to the best of your ability. And now as you walk through the streets, Renair is dressed as a thorn grunt with sort of much darker hair that is just, he's released it from the ponytail so it just flows down like it did in the old days in Cineath. But looks fairly different from the regular Renair you know.
Perfect.
I would probably also put my hood up. Try to not be as seen. Just putting that out there just in case I don't want it to bite me in the ass.
Can we dye Lidara's
Fair
hair
enough.
too?
Do you want your hair dyed?
Can we make it like pink?
If I have to.
Pink is kind of
That's a little
attention
obvious.
grabber.
It's very conspicuous, yes?
What if it was like a dark ruby?
Like a red?
Like red.
Ruby.
It could also just I don't know.
Whatever, I guess, that's fine.
You really. I mean, we're gonna.
Just
Do
do
you
it.
want to? Okay.
Just do whatever
dye
you
her
want.
hair red with the temporary dye, I guess.
So making your way out, we have
Vincent's like, that's definitely gonna stain.
we have
no.
Fantasy. We've moved past hair dye staining.
we have a Walsh fanboy, older fanboy with blonde hair. We have human Vincent. We have Bonnie just straight up crystalline horns and everything, just in the same clothes.
Nice.
Funny.
But Bonnie probably would have ditched the duster and is now just wearing like a vest and the shirt, but still has their guns just like on their person.
So funny.
And then we have like slightly darker haired Renair in thorn clothing, and then Lidara in regular clothing with dark red hair.
We have a thorn and a Walsh.
You look completely different.
Walking together, a thorn grunt and a Walsh.
I think we've
fanboy.
somehow made ourselves more attention grabbing.
This group.
Well,
so-
did you want to maybe
Looks a little weird.
be a thorn as well?
But I put my disguise on first.
Well, he can't change his.
They don't have Walsh clothes at the Thorn Manor.
Yeah, sure, I'll be a fucking thorn. I'm gonna look exactly the same.
Yeah, just change, just magically change the sweatshirt. It takes like.
And if somebody asks, just say I had a bad experience in the Walsh. And I've decided to change to the thorn.
All right, everyone, make your stealth
That
checks
tracks.
then, and add +10.
No.
You know what?
Well, I
can
guess
take
it's
it
over
back.
then. No, just kidding.
No, I really need it. Actually, that +10 because I rolled a 5. +4 +10.
Oh yeah, they're
No.
fun.
How much?
My stealth was a 31.
31,
18 plus 12 plus 10 is something.
18 plus 12 plus 10,
Yeah.
so 40. Sweet Christ. It's the highest roll in this whole fucking game.
But
Oh my god.
Is the wind.
Jesus Christ.
She disappears. What? She evaporates.
All right, and Vincent,
21.
21. Okay.
40.
And Renair and Bonnie both rolled like 25 and 24, like pretty high.
God.
I'll roll one for Adelaide as well. Adelaide is the lowest roller. She's not really used to that, but she also helps you all like kind of find routes that are towards the undercity that aren't the main roads, like roads that are a little less crowded. I'll go ahead and roll then to see, because the lowest one. No, as a group check, you all passed pretty much. I won't make it just because Adelaide fucked up
I rolled
that
a fucking
you all
31.
Exactly. You rolled a 40. That would be insane.
if that
yeah.
failed, I'd be like, now what?
No, excuse me.
For what?
What was the
yeah,
DC?
Lidara straight up, there's a second, she just disappears. Just like, gone.
You guys can't even see her.
You're not entirely sure where she went, but she's actually just like right next to you the whole time. Just her presence is suppressed. Almost. You all make your way through the streets of Wheldon, and you can hear that the guards are still keeping a jovial manner in sort of populated areas. So you see them talking with people, keeping a smile on, and then as you go past less populated areas, you can hear like hushed, barked orders, just like go fan out over that way and figure out where we need to go next. like that sort of thing. Like people who are frustrated, guards who are frustrated because they're having to search this late into the night. However, you make it across the overcity of Wheldon without a hitch. So, is there anything that you're asking, talking about with anybody?
I will talk to Azzurum and just say, what are you planning?
I'm not planning anything.
Are you just gonna talk?
I'm just gonna talk.
What if it goes south?
I'll kill him.
All right. Okay. And if we get out of there, and can we just make this as quick as possible? There are guards looking everywhere for us.
I mean, if you don't want to come, you can go.
No,
back to
I
the
want to
Thorn
come. I'm just saying we have to be careful.
Manor. I know.
All right.
As you make your way through the sort of first leg towards the undercity, you're able to get to that same tunnel entrance on the outskirts, like the sides of the city walls that lead downward. You traverse those stairs. Adelaide has been pretty silent this time, just keeping to herself. She's pulled a cloak over herself, over her uniform, that sort of thing. And as you descend into the undercity, that same humid, heavy atmosphere is all of a sudden very present, even into the night. Your clothes begin to cling to your body with sweat, and as you finally push to the other side of the tunnel, you can see the crowded streets of ramshackle metal buildings lie before you. Electric lights seem to blink in a symphony of neglect, and the streets themselves are still crowded, now even more so as workers seem to be returning to their homes. You join this crowd of people, and you can hear that there is like a tired joy of being around each other. You can hear people sitting outside of restaurants that are open late, enjoying drinks together, or a meager meal, that sort of thing, or playing cards or dominoes, that sort of thing. And as your group passes people, you hear greetings shouted your way, which you hear people say, "Oh, hi Adelaide," and you hear her sort of, "Hello," and it's sort of someone else like, "How was work?" And she's like, "It was fine, it was fine." But there's a nervousness in her voice that she can't quite hide. Everyone go ahead and give me like an insight or a perception check.
17.
17.
28.
28.
14.
14. Azzurum and Lidara, you're able to pick up on this rather quickly. Like the further you get into the undercity, these crowded streets, these kind of tightly knit communities, you begin to notice now that the people greeting Adelaide and a fair amount of the people passing very much are starting to take note of her demeanor and your presence here. Especially, this is something, especially as soon as they see how Renair is dressed. You can see that there are some people who just cut off, like they say like, "Oh," and then just kind of keep walking, like keep their heads down as Renair is walking past them in the thorn attire. And even though you're wearing like the merchandise, not the actual like official uniform or that thing, there's still people giving you like quizzical looks as you're making your way through the undercity. Like this is a very strange group to be here. You can assess just by the reactions you're getting, but the longer you go through there, the more and more people seem to be taking focus on Adelaide and her demeanor.
Oh.
Is there anything you're doing?
I wouldn't notice it, right?
You haven't noticed, no. You're just uncomfortable with like the whole crowd in general at the moment.
I would probably lean into Adelaide and say, like, is us being dressed like this a problem? Should we change? I don't want to cause any more attention or trouble.
She looks over and says, "Yes, we don't get many Walshes or thorns down in the undercity. It's a good disguise if you're walking through the overcity, but down here, we do kind of stick out.
Okay, well, then I'll change.
Okay, what do you do?
I would probably drop my disguise.
Cool.
You are... did you do this, like, just while walking through there? Because you're still, like, in kind of crowded area, that sort of thing. There's a chance that no one would notice it because of the crowd, but also there were people, like, watching you. So it's kind of a risk if you want to do that or if you want to try and break away.
I would probably try to break away.
Okay, make a stealth check. Since you're getting away from the group...
Is Pass
To an
Without a
extent.
Trace still active?
It's
This one's
around
just-
30 feet.
30
Right,
feet is
so-
enough for it to still be active, sure.
31.
31. You're able to break away from the group to alleyway, drop the disguise. You are now your regular genasi form. Make your way back out and join. Renair just kind of also creeps off to the side, removes the vest, like the tunic, and is just wearing like the undershirt, stuffs it in a satchel, and keeps walking out. Now there are people who have already seen you seen Renair at least in those clothes, so there's still some suspicion, but there's less, so you're no longer accumulating it as you're making your way through. However, it doesn't take long before you hear a shout from a familiar voice, which is Adelaide. And soon, a familiar water genasi, the owner of the Aquifer's dish, quickly runs up to Adelaide, wraps her arms around Adelaide's arm, and says, "There you are. And you're the customers from earlier. And Bonnie! Well, this is a surprise. What brings you down here?"
Nothing?
Well, maybe not nothing.
You can make insight checks if you'd like as well.
I've never met this person in my life.
I've never met this woman in my life.
26.
8.
Insight? 23.
Yeah, you both beat it, so I'll just say this out loud. There is a very nuanced action happening here. As soon as the arm is sort of wrapped around Adelaide, it is almost like a very protective sense. This isn't just like, I'm excited to see you. This is, I see that you are being followed by several people, including 3 people that were asking about something really suspicious. And now she is like keeping a smile on, but slowly like putting herself in front of Adelaide, trying to assess the situation and come up with a plan, if that makes sense.
Let's just say we're not here for noodles.
There's like a tense as the crowd's beginning to like pass by you on your side. That's a shame then.
But we're not here for anything violent, if that's what you're worried about. I can
She
tell.
looks you all over. Go ahead and make a persuasion check. Just straight up. Do it with disadvantage, I will say. The situation isn't great from her end.
Well, 14, but that's because I rolled a 2.
She looks over and says, "No, of course not. Yeah, well, may I ask then how you know my sister?"
Long story. It's complicated. We've gotten into a few things upstairs, but nothing to be worried about.
Should roll something there too, just to check. Okay. Adelaide sort of looks at this. Yes, they're friends of Miss Thorne. So I was just showing them around the undercity, that sort of thing.
Yeah, we were in a bit of a tizzy with the Church of the Morning Lord. How do you feel about them?
Adela looks at you and says, "Tizzy, it's a shame. praise be, and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May have heard something along those lines, but,
There's a mix-up. That's all.
I'm gonna kind of lean into like Azzurum.
Sure.
And be like, who is this?
I honestly don't really know her. That was she owns a noodle shop.
Okay. So, do you know her name?
You can just introduce yourself.
Hello.
Oh, hi. I don't suppose we've met.
Yeah, hi. I
Adela.
realized. Lidara, hello. Nice to meet you.
Well, very nice to meet you as well. Well, we'd love to... I don't want to get in the way of your tour, but I think Mom actually needs our help with something. So, we'll have to... We can do this again tomorrow if you guys want to meet at the restaurant. We can start the tour from there.
Well, no, there's something specific that we came down here for. I look at Azzurum.
Yeah, there is.
Oh?
Adelaide was just leading us there, actually.
Leading you to where, if I may ask?
Your house.
I see. Well, I'm sorry. My mother wouldn't like it for guests to drop in so unexpectedly. I think you'll have to excuse us for tonight. We're going to get things ready, and then you can come by tomorrow.
I mean, she said that it was okay.
Is this true?
We won't bother your mother.
Small house. It's not hard to bother the people inside. Is that right? Adelaide. And Adelaide sort of looks and says, well, I was, kind of stammering over words. And you trust these people, Adelaide? You're all right? And Adelaide sort of looks. They give each other a look. And Adela's smile kind of drops. And she sort of pushes in front of her sister and says, I'm going to be straight with you here. Leave her alone.
We have nothing to do with her. I'm going to tell you straight, we don't want to hurt either one of you, or your family, or anything.
I look Adela in the eyes and I'm like, I'm going to say this for the last time. I don't appreciate being lied to, and I don't appreciate things that are my business being held from me. I asked you. We've already had this conversation. You had the opportunity to introduce me to him when I asked you the first time. Now, we can do this peacefully because I have already promised Adelaide that there will be no conflict, that I just want to talk to him. Or we can create a scene. And I'm not going to lie, I think I'll win.
You say this, and you begin to notice that the crowd moving around you is not moving. They all have stopped, are listening, and turn and just begin to surround you.
What the fuck?
As they look, she says, if you mess with one member of our community, well, you're messing with all of us. And I'll be frank, though you say you just want to talk, we're not too kind to people who sell their work out to the thorns in tight connection with the family already.
Tight.
Barely.
That's a loose term, I would say.
And I'm not fond of people protecting murderers. You. All the countless people that have been murdered because of this person, all the families that have been ripped apart because this person wants to ransack every fucking town that they walk through. Your family's next if you do not let me talk to him.
Make a persuasion check. Or this is intimidation, I'll say.
18.
She doesn't falter in her stance. She looks you in the eyes. And she says, if it'll satiate whatever curiosity you have, we'll allow you to talk to him. But he's in no state to hurt anybody.
Perfect.
Okay. That's all I ask. That's all I've ever asked.
She gives a look to the crowd that's beginning to gather. You can see factory workers with just whatever, like wrenches and hammers, just whatever they could find, bottles that are just like held ready. There's a tension that hangs in the crowd, and as she gives a look, they all begin to disperse. Let's go then. Turns Adelaide and leads you through the twisted alleys of the undercity. It takes some time to get there, of course, but eventually you are brought in towards what looks to be like kind of in a back alley, almost like an apartment complex sort of thing. Trying to figure out how to describe this, sorry. Leading your way through the twisted alleys, you eventually reach like a dead end where there is an entrance to almost like an apartment building. Ramshackle metal that is tall, stretching towards the top of the roof here of the undercity, the actual bridge. You're led inside, walked through. There's a couple more of those jovial greetings from people. You hear someone go like, "Oh, you got guests now." And Adele says, "Yes, suppose we have. So popular we are these days." Kind of gives a smile. You feel, even though you are receiving these jovial greetings, that the people in the halls that are here are just watching. Like their eyes are just locked on you all as you pass by. Give me an insight check real quick.
Glad.
Another insight check. It's like a general 3.
24. And
There's more of a clarification. Insight check.
17.
24, 17 is enough to get this. These people, this is not some hidden organization where everyone is a trained assassin ready, like they run a crime syndicate.
Thank God.
You get the vibe that these are people who are scared, that they are willing to fight to protect someone in their community, and also probably would lose in this fight really quickly, but also because they're just regular people. So you don't get like threatened by the fact that there's a lot of people like willing to fight you in this moment, but also there's a sense of it would be bad if it came to that. Eventually you're led to a door at the end of a hallway on the 3rd floor. You see Adela put a key inside, unlock the door, push inside. You see a cramped exterior, low ceilings. This first room that you enter is like a family room with cushions laid out along the floors and a table on the ground in the middle of them, very low. You see that this room is connected to a kitchen with a wood fire stove and like a sink. There's a hallway that goes back, and the actual home itself is very, very lively as soon as you enter. There's artwork hung along the wall, some of it childish and some beautiful. It's not just paintings and drawings, however. There are little trinkets stacked on shelves of glass and metal, intricate designs of beads that are hung from the ceilings and hung on the walls, and very beautiful but old glassware. And the house itself smells of fresh-made home cooking. Chopped vegetables and broth, you can still hear it bubbling on that sort of wood fire stove. And it's still quite warm in here. As you can see, one member of the family sat down at the table, sort of fanning himself. His back is to the door as you enter. And you see him turn around, and he's a younger water genasi, probably around like Lidara's age, I would say. Sort of turns around and says, "Oh, you're back." That person sitting there, it has like short cropped hair that goes down. It's longer on the back, so it's almost like a mullet.
Oh my God.
He's wearing gray coveralls stained with a little bit of oil. And the face is kind of worn, but like I rolled, still very handsome. And then the woman standing there, she's much older with smile lines, long flowing hair that is braided intricately but still is trying to escape in that same sort of flowy water way. She wears an apron and ties her hair back with a bandana. And she looks over as she hears who you assume to be her son sort of say those words, and says, "Oh, welcome," and just kind of is stopped seeing you all.
Just like awkwardly.
There's like, just the bubbling pot.
I immediately am like, "Hi, my name's Azzurum."
Hello. Sorry to bother you. My name's Lidara.
We'll be in and out quick.
What's... You see the older brother go to stand. You see Adela kind of reach a hand out and just say, "Nope, it's fine." They say they're here to talk. He settles back down. There's a tense silence as you're all in this kind of stare down, being walked in. There's like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you currently, plus the 2 that actually live here. It's a cramped space. Like, it's really is not meant to fit more than a few people.
What is that? It smells great.
Make a charisma check.
Can I assist?
How?
Can I be like, I was thinking the same thing. Like, I don't eat meat, but I kind of want to.
Good with... No, I'm sorry. No, the circumstances, that will cancel out. I was going to give you disadvantage. So just the straight roll.
Well, that was a 1. Plus 4.
Oh no.
So the vibe that you're going for here is, oh, well, that
Try to
smells
break
great.
the tension.
In reality, sort of stepping outside yourselves for a second to kind of see what this looks like, you kind of feel like mobsters that walked in and be like, "So what's cooking, huh? Smells great." Like, there is a fear that goes over the mother's
No,
face.
it smells good. That's all.
Give me insight checks. Okay. And the brother.
22.
22?
5.
Insight. 26.
I'll whisper. I have to whisper. Hi, this is Christian, the Dungeon Master for the Strings of Fate. Thank you for listening to episode 13 of our adventure. Something I wanted to explain before I got to the breaks is what a whisper is. A lot of times I ask my players to make insight checks to tell whether or not a character is lying or being genuine, or if they have some sort of emotion about them that is not easy to read from the surface. If only one of the players gets a very high insight check to realize what somebody's thinking, then sometimes I give them what is called a whisper, where I tell them information about the character's current state of mind. This means the other players are kind of scrambling to figure out what was just said. But I digress. I have a couple announcements and a word from our sponsor. First things first, be sure to check out the Strings of Fate and the Dungeon Depths social media, the Twitter and Instagram, to enter into our giveaway for a Strings of Fate themed dice set. These dice were provided for us by Olivia of Dungeon Depths, and we could not be happier with how they turned out. They're absolutely gorgeous. So go check out those posts. We're going to be announcing the giveaway winner this Friday, April 16th. Speaking of Dungeon Depths, they are the sponsor of this show. Dungeon Depths is a store carrying quality gaming supplies with character. They carry tabletop-inspired apparel and stickers, handmade dice, and now new dice trays and dice vaults. They are beautiful and they are made with love. Please go check them out at shopdungeondepths.com. And now you can use the code SOFTPOD to get 10% off your purchase. This code is good for merchandise as well as commissioned dice trays, and commissioned dice vaults from Olivia themselves. That's SOFPOD at checkout or in the comments of your commission. Thank you to Dungeon Depths for supporting the show. If you're enjoying the show, please be sure to share it with people you think will like it. A great way you can do that is by tweeting about the show using the hashtag SoftPod. I check that hashtag pretty much every day, and I get my NPC names for it. In fact, I'm going to need a lot of NPC names soon, so now would be a good time to start tweeting about the show. Be sure to check out the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. If you can, it really helps to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, as it allows the show to be seen by more people. Otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as well as comment down below. In fact, to help with that, I'm going to give you a little comment prompt. What is your favorite Dungeons & Dragons class? Or, what Dungeons & Dragons class do you really want to play? Anyway, that's all from me. Back to the show.
Good to know.
The silence is suddenly broken by the sound of a sliding door at the other end, and you hear tiny footsteps run out as two water genasi twins, no older than maybe like 4 or 5, just clamber out and go, Adela's home, and just start running out. It's Adelaide! And they sort of run out into the living room to sort of stop, like skid to a stop. So they look up and they say, friends! They brought friends!
Can I be like, oh my god, hi! And like treat them how I treat Squidly. Be like,
Yeah,
like, hi, my name's Mr. Azzy.
Oh, so cute.
You see the older brother kind of stand up and then make his way over and then just kind of stand behind them and says, why don't you go play in your room for a second? We got business to attend to. And I say, aw, but we just met Mr. Azzy. Well, you see that they are, they're twins. They're very young, very small, wearing clothes that are fashioned, look to me like homemade, like they were made in the home, like kind of like overalls, that sort of thing, but like no shirt underneath. They got short hair and chubby little cheeks, and their wild like baby hair is still like floating like water. I say, oh, you're no fun, Signet, and then they start to like make their way back as the family kind of stands in silence and says, so, you want to see him, right?
Yes.
Before you do, let's talk.
Okay.
I want to know more about what you said. She kind of motions over to the table down there. We can talk here, or we can talk after you see him. It's up to you.
Whatever you're most comfortable with. At the end of the day, I really have no ill intent towards you or your family. The only thing that upset me was being lied to, but at the end, I'm not here to ransack your home or to dismantle your entire family. This has nothing to do with you.
Make a persuasion check.
12.
She looks, she says, down here, sometimes we have to lie. We have to protect each other. And I'm sorry that it was disrespectful to you. And if your intentions are good and nothing comes of this, then that's my mistake. You'll have to excuse it. It's something that we've just learned to do.
I have a question. How long have you been taking care of this guy?
Not long.
So he's a stranger to you,
Yes.
as much as we are strangers to you, right?
Yes.
And you would still consider him a part of your community.
We consider him someone wounded by the families.
By the families?
Yes.
He was wounded here, in the city.
The Overcity. Adelaide found him unconscious, bleeding out.
Interesting.
Should have left him there.
So what did you want to talk to us about? What did you have any questions?
If you can give us more insight into who he is, if he really is as dangerous as you say he is, and if he's going to kill me and my family, then yes, we made a mistake and we'd like to send him off to somewhere else. But so far, he hasn't exhibited that behavior.
I wish that I knew his whole life story. Part of the reason I'm here is to figure out exactly why he's been following me for months. We've traveled through cities. I've been attacked multiple times because the cities that we travel through, that he's been through before, he's caused some sort of trouble. We were just where we met Bonnie. When we just talked to you, when we just met you at the noodle shop and we told you how we met Bonnie, that was all because of him. People were hunting me because of him. There were cities that I've gone through that have been completely blown apart.
I see.
Back in Cineath, you found us. And He's extremely powerful and extremely dangerous. And we're lucky that he decided to leave before that fight got worse. Because he would have kicked our ass.
And so what do you plan to do?
I want to know who he is. At the end of the day, I don't really have a problem with him. I wish he'd stop, following me. That's kind of weird.
Before I continue, it's best that you see him first, and you'll understand some apprehension and some of the shock. She stands up, begins to lead you down the hall. You can see that there's 3 rooms. There are all these sliding doors. But she leads you to the far end. She looks and says, I don't know if he's in any state to talk, but well, we'll see. And she slides the door open. A weak breeze escapes from in the room. You can feel that warm, sticky humidity briefly ailed by just cool wind. You see a room slightly smaller than the living space in the front. That same eccentric style climbs the walls and hangs from the ceilings. And in the center of the room, there's a cot, currently occupied. Slow, labored breathing, just from an unconscious figure. A wet cloth on the forehead. You see an air genasi. Much closer now. The panic of battle not present this time. Their hair is short, lightly drifting on its own accord, a blue that turns to silver. They wear those same robe-like clothes you saw that day in Siniath, but their face doesn't carry the same determination. The mouth is open. The expression is pained. The blue skin flushed and sickly. And 3 things are made very evident to you immediately. 1, this is the same figure you faced in Siniath, the one fighting for a title none of you had ever heard. 2, they are in no state to fight in this moment, and there's something wrong with them. And 3, in this calm, in this moment to fully scrutinize and examine the figure without the rush of battle or the panic, they unmistakably have the same face as your air genasi companion. What do you do?
Hey. Hey.
There's no response. It's been like that for a week. Adela cuts in. He comes in and out, and he's mostly unconscious. We don't know what's wrong, but...
Any wounds?
Yeah. We've closed up some of the major ones. The Mom said that there was poison in his system. She was able to pull it out from his veins, but the effects of it are still there.
What? Did you do it with medicine, or did you do it with... and give a meaningful look?
You see Adela sort of raise her hand, and a small amount of moisture is pulled from the air into little droplets, and then dispersed.
Perfect. Then we are on the same page here.
Would I, if, I don't know, Lidara kind of knows some things about poisons. Would she be able to kind of recognize anything about the way he's acting?
Go ahead and make a medicine or a nature check for me.
Oh. 21.
21. It's strange. you know a lot about poison. You know a lot about toxins, venoms, things used to debilitate people or even to kill people. Though you can't ascertain the exact type of poison as there isn't a sample of it, you can see that whatever effects it's meant to be had would have killed a lesser person outright. You can see places where the veins themselves are bulging and look sickly, almost corroded in places. But whatever has happened in this person's body, they have fought it off.
Oh my gosh. Could I examine him a little bit more?
Sure. It's unnerving. This is Azzurum's face. You can see it. The hair's different. But that's about it. And examining the body more, it's very... I'll keep over that same medicine check. You can... How far do you go in terms of examination?
Just kind of looking at, like, his arms, kind of, like, checking out, like, the wounds that I can see, and seeing what's going on, if I can get anything from that.
Sure. The figure himself is very muscular, that you can immediately tell, though some of that mass has been lost from just being unconscious for so long. You can see that there are old scars across the body, just in general, in as many places as you can see. But there are some newer ones that have been sewn up as well. Those look to be the ones that they were talking about. That are sort of more in the sides, kind of right around the abdomen area. Through this whole process, the figure doesn't really stir, just kind of...
I could always try to do what I do, but I don't think that I can get rid of poison. Whatever I can do maybe help. Renair, do you have anything?
I don't think I have any experience that could help this person. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Azzurum, how are you feeling right now?
Confused. A little kind of like over it. Just, like if people weren't there, he'd probably just like shake him awake or something.
Okay.
I'll kneel down and I'll be like, do you want me to try? And I'll put my hand up.
Sure.
All right. I'll cast in front of everybody Cure Wounds at
Sure.
first level.
Go ahead and roll your dice.
7 points of healing.
You place your hand on the body and you try to pulse healing into it. It's almost as if something rejects it. You feel your healing disperse or is almost pushed out of the veins, not on the accord of the body.
Yeah, that didn't work.
Adela... Adela, where did you find him?
Adelaide's the one. And Adelaide sort of looks and says, I was walking home. I heard a ruckus. I heard shouts. I heard Tyron shouting. And then, stumbling around the corner, I saw an air genasi, wounded, bleeding. And I didn't think. I just did my best to pick him up and bring him back to the undercity.
Was it perhaps near a barn?
No, this was on the Thorn side of town. I know which one you're talking about. The stables on the Walsh's side.
Well, my theory's out.
I don't know. I've nothing. I can't do anything else. If you want to talk to him, you can try to shake him awake. You can try to... I don't know.
I try to like shake him awake.
You shake. Adelaide sort of reaches out, huh? And Adela stops her hand as you're just sort of shaking him, and it's... I'm going to roll something here. What do I want to roll? What's the... I don't want to do heads or tails because I feel like that's a little too... So I'll do D100. Let's say this percentage. The body begins to stir. Just kind of. The body begins to stir as you hear.
Ooh.
This is the Wheldon Watch.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
You hear the mother from children, quick. You see them all jump into motion. You see
What the fuck?
you see beads being taken off the wall. You see certain iconography, like what you gather to be. Make a religion check, everybody, real quick.
13.
19?
19?
14.
14. Okay. You would be able to tell that this is one of the older gods before the Morning Lord, like a natural god. You're not sure exactly which one, but their iconography is taken off the wall and like stuffed away. You see Adela sort of grab onto the figure and say, "You have to hide. We have to hide you. Quick."
Give me 10 minutes.
We can't guarantee that. They're right out there.
Someone give me 10 minutes. I don't know. What do we want to do? What are we fucking doing? I could try to make this a sanctum, but I need 10 minutes. Or we could try to run, or we could try to talk to them. I don't know.
I don't have anything. I can disguise myself.
I'm still disguised in my red hair, but we can have someone. Can someone just like talk to them and I don't know. What do they want? I mean, what do they want? Obviously, they want us. Why? Did someone call them?
I don't know. I really don't. Figure something. We gotta figure something out. Gotta decide on something.
Where did everyone else go? Like, are they all still in the room?
Is everybody standing by, or
No, everyone is currently scattered around the house, hiding
Things.
just random things of that you can't really gather a ton of importance what they're hiding, but is important to them. You can see them running and like stuffing them into hidden nooks in like the wall and that sort of thing. And you see Adela quickly pull up one of the floor panels in the room, like one of the large ones, and begin to usher to put the unconscious air genasi underneath. It's like a crawl space that's quite large, not quite large, but large enough to fit people underneath.
Can we
Several
can we
people?
get in down there?
Yes, if you want to, then hide. Quick.
We're
Yes.
going.
I can
Please.
also disguise myself to just be an or a water genasi and pretend like to be like one of the siblings.
Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
I'll do
that's
that
fine.
so that you guys, we're not all together.
Okay.
Okay. You quickly scramble underneath into this crawl space. The floorboard is closed. It's a very cramped space and very uncomfortable to be in. There's like a couple cobwebs in the corner that you're trying not to keep an eye on. But Renaer, Bonnie, this unconscious figure, you and Vincent are under there. And you can see through the cracks in the floor itself as you look up into the room. Azzurum?
I'm gonna sit on the bed and pretend like this is my room.
Okay. You see the mother run back, look at everything, and say, okay. She makes her way over. And you can only just hear the conversation. It's a little muted. Everyone go ahead and give a perception check.
Oh, natural 20 plus 10.
God damn it.
19.
19.
Fucking 12.
You have always heard the Wheldon Watch in the Overcity. And they are always semi-subservient. Just always handing out little coupons or giving directions or asking for you to leave them a good review at guest services. As soon as this water genasi opens the door, they just push past her.
Whoa.
And she says, what is the meaning of this? Well, what are you doing? And you hear a gruff, familiar voice and the stomping of not the false light metal of the Wheldon Watch's armor, but the heavy plate boots of a knight. We're quite sorry to disturb you, but there has been tale of fugitives hiding in this building. and your family is under suspicion. As you hear the voice of the head knight, Sir Charles, in the room. As they begin to search the place, you hear a table overturned, you hear glass shatter onto the floor as she screams out, "What are you doing?"
Is there like the floorboard, the piece that is like that can come up? Is there like a handle anywhere in there?
You can sense that you can push it up if you would like.
I want to try to keep it shut.
Keep it shut.
I want to try to keep it shut so that like they can't like
Can I?
Get
Is
in.
there like a crate or something I could have put on top of like a dresser I could have pushed to their like?
Would you? Yeah. This all happens very quickly, so you can try and do that now if you want to make an athletics check to push it or a strength check.
Okay.
We should just kill this guy. He deserves it.
I can like bane him.
I can too.
That'd be so cool.
Athletics.
11. You get into the process. You are trying to make a stealth check now to see how quietly you do this, because moving
Is
something
Pass
can
Without
still.
a Trace still? Is it still within the hour?
I would say no.
Okay.
It's been a long time of traversing the entire city. So
Natural 20 plus 5.
Oh, thank God. Thank God.
you push the dresser over the floorboard that was pushed up to allow you all to get into the crawl space, and now you just hear the stomping of boots up above. You hear a couple things shatter. You hear yells of protest of like, you can't do this. You can't just treat us like this. And just fall on
Deaf ears.
yeah, just silence. There's just silence from the guards as they walk through the home. You hear a sliding door pulled open, searched. You hear some screams from the room of just like surprise, and then more sort of ransacking. And then the next one, you can hear the two children sort of crying in the other one as they tear through. And as they pull open the door to your room, Azzurum, you see Toby.
Not Toby.
Just sort of looking at you, and then just silently making his way over and then tearing out like dressers, like drawers from the dressers, and then searching through them as best as he can, just silently. And stomping behind him, you hear the Knight of the Morning Lord, Sir Charles, stomps into the room.
We should just kill it.
The knight looks down at you. You see the eyes that you once saw alight with divine fire, just still. He looks and he says, "This will be over soon. I'm sorry for the inconvenience." But the guards continue to tear the home apart. Lidara, make a perception check.
Okay. 25.
From underneath, you can peek through the floorboards and look up towards the knight. You can see him. You see him looking around this place, looking at the different people. You see Adela and Adelaide have kind of filed in behind, just sort of yelling in protest for the watch to stop, while others are trying to block them. And as he looks at everyone's faces, you see him pull a small book from his satchel
No. Fuck.
and just
Fuck.
look over
Fuck.
everyone in here,
Fuck. Oh my God. Oh my God.
and then
I'm gonna kill him. Like,
shuts it.
Oh my God.
Sort of places it.
I look at Vincent. I'm like, Vincent.
What?
He has my notebook. He's holding my notebook right now.
Should we just kill him?
You know, I'm kind of feeling like I would like to.
Is he alone?
It's not. There's a couple guards in here as well. There's 4 guards in here along with him.
I can't even tell Azzurum. God damn it.
What do you want to do?
You see him sort of make his way over around the room himself. Now that the guards are ransacking, see Toby turn over and said, "We didn't find anything, sir." You see him look. just make his way over to a place where the dust is collected around a recently moved dresser. And just kind of bend down, move, and just kind of take a look at it, dragging his gauntlet through the dust. And I'll say, for a little bit of extra description, Vincent, from underneath the floorboards, he is right above where you are. You are staring face to face. He doesn't see you.
I flip in the bird. Fucking hate this guy.
Oh,
He stands.
God, I'm gonna kill him.
Well, it looks like we've taken up your time, and I'm sorry about that. Smiles at everybody. On to the next building, then.
Wish I could give this guy a wedgie.
Oh my God.
He sucks.
Oh my God.
Let's move. They begin to exit. What are you doing?
Like, Azzurum.
Do you want me to message him? Yes. I'll message Azzurum with a piece of copper wire very quietly as they're leaving. And I'll say, he's got Lidara's book. I don't know if there's anything you can do to get it. I don't know.
I get to respond, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, I'm not risking this family's safety and these people's safety for something that is our business. We can get it later.
I'll tell that to Lidara.
She didn't say anything.
Okay. You can hear the light cries of children as the Wheldon Watch and the Knight of the Morning Lord step out of the apartment. In this moment of silence before the mother sort of says, they're gone. Everyone, come out.
God.
The next few minutes are just getting everybody out from under the floorboards, including the figure who is laid back down to rest. And coming outside, you can now see the state that this place has been left in. Some glassware that's been shattered, table overturned, some cushion torn apart, just ransacked.
It's awful. They don't have the right to do that.
They believe they do. To us, at least. Adela looks. We become very adept liars and very adept at hiding things. They begin to remove valuable items and glassware and religious iconography from the little nooks in the walls.
But you
Begin to put
shouldn't.
them back.
You shouldn't have to lie, and you shouldn't have to hide.
You're right. We shouldn't. But we do.
There are so many of you, though. I feel like there's got to be something that you could do. I wish I could help. I don't know. At least they're gone, I guess.
Well, sorry that your investigation has turned up unfortunate, Mr. Azzy.
I never said I was done.
Continue. You can stay if you'd want. It looks like it's safer at this point, or you try and make your way back. I don't know.
I feel like we've come too far to leave without this person telling us.
I just want to know who he is.
Right.
Do what you must. Just try not to harm him. There's a somber silence that takes the whole family as they begin to clean up in a way that is so systematic. It's almost rehearsed. As if they've had to do this countless times. Azzurum, what do you do?
I'm gonna stare at him for a while. Just gonna see if I, like, first of all, I'm gonna just figure out, like, if he, like, how similar he looks to me. Is it, like, my exact face? Or is it, like, you know, he has a little bigger nose than I do, you know?
Like there's a birthmark that you have that he doesn't.
Yeah, does he have any tattoos?
Pull open his eyes. They're the same color.
Yeah, his eyes the same color.
Make a perception check.
Okay. 18.
Azzurum, you stare down at the pale, sickly pallor of the face of the air genasi. It is your face. There are differences, of course. Slight differences that are only really caught by someone who has spent so much time looking at that face. But he does not look back. He doesn't respond. He simply allows wheezing gasps of air into his lungs in a weak rhythm. The breathing. The eyes kind of blink slightly. Just for a second. And they lock with yours.
Good morning, Air of the Tempest.
And that's where we'll end.
Thank you for listening to the
Strings of Fate podcast, starring everyone here,
especially
not
me,
Azzurum.
Nope.
You are no more special than the rest of us.
That's what you say.
All right. Anyway, we'll end this. Everyone out there, thank you for listening, and
Have a great day.
mhm.